Yeah. Today we would like to welcome a kid from India, and his name is.
John Alfilo.
And how is the life in India?
Um, if you ask me, I would say the life is hard in India. You have to work for everything, and especially when it comes to education and other things that you have to work for. And it's, if you ask me, the most hardest thing to just be yourself or to feed yourself because you're hungry, and that's of course hard because money is a hard thing in India. So yeah, that's what I will say. That's hard.
Yes. What do you do for a living?
Of course, I have many works. If I didn't have any works, I would probably lose my house and probably lose everything, because money is a big thing in India. You have to keep working and keep working for living. If you ask me, so that's what I do for living. Working every day, 10 to 13 hours a day, and make some money for my family and me.
And where do you live?
I live in New Delhi. It's like a shanty house where I built it. My family built it for like 2 hours, 2 years ago. It was about. It was like of plastic and of course other things that we used to build it, metal, and that's it. And
And how is the education in India?
I will say education is especially education is the hardest thing to have in India, mostly because sometimes it's dangerous, and that's mostly because it is the school locks down because of the fog and smoke, um, and that's more because it can kill us. So sometimes it has 4 weeks to start again in school. And I will say that education is the hardest thing to have, because either you can work the days where you have to be in school, or the days where you have to work, and that's especially the hardest thing.
Okay, we also have an expert in education in India, so we would like to welcome her.
Perfect.
Okay. So arranged marriage is very common in India. It's often that your family chooses who you are to marry. So it could be a relative, it could be somebody of important impact in the village you live in, or maybe somebody who has a great education. Often you're born within the same caste as and married within the same caste. So I can only marry those who are like me. Yeah.
Is it easy to survive the shanty towns?
No, it's not easy, but sometimes the heat um, doesn't come through, and it's like a good thing if you ask me, because sometimes the sun is shining really much and sometimes it rain, and I'll say if you are good to building the shanty towns or buildings, especially when it's raining, then you can survive. But some people in India can't survive it because they are alone and they have to build it by themselves, and that's mostly the teen in India, where they either have to build by themselves or the family has. But sometimes they doesn't have the family, so that's the hardest thing to it.
Did you choose your marriage?
No, I didn't choose. My family did. They talked a lot to the other girl's parents, and then they just planned a day where we have to meet. And if you ask me, I don't like the girl.
We also have an expert in that is an expert in arranged
Arrange, yeah.
marriage. So we would like to welcome her.
Well,
Yeah, education in India is very. It depends on what kind of family you're born into. So if you're in a wealthy family, you can get a high education. If you're born in one of the shanty towns, it's most likely that you won't get any education at all. So you live in the street and you die in the streets. It's very difficult for women, or girls in particular, to get a full education. So you most likely get what we in Denmark call folkeskole, and that's it. And they'll never use their education because the expectations are that you stay at home, cook, and take care of your family. So once you're married, your role as a woman is to stay at home. But luckily, there is a development. There are a lot of young girls who refuses to enter these marriages, and they educate themselves instead and try to break the vicious cycle.